Now, if you've driven through Kayenta, one of the first things you're bound to notice is that most of the homes in Kayenta have flat roofs. We asked Terry to help us understand the logic behind the flat roof design approach.
The flat roof concept that we have developed, a lot of people say, well, we've taken it from Santa Fe, New Mexico. We've taken it from other areas that have employed that type of construction. That's not exactly the truth. The flat roof was an evolution of the building style that we started at Kayenta. We initially started with a more traditional pitched roof, and we took the pitches down as we developed our architecture. We continued to lower the pitches to lower the profile of the houses and protect the views of their neighbors. Eventually, what we found out is that the flat roof offered us a lot of other options. One of the options was that it allowed us to make the windows on the north side looking up at the Red Mountain quite a bit higher, the header height, so that we could get a real beautiful full view of the mountains and big view windows to the north. A third thing that was a surprise as it came in is that the flat roofs allowed us a lot more flexibility in terms of the floor plan. We were able to create more interesting floor plans, more highly articulated floor plans, and then we were able to make the roofs work easier into those floor plans.
The other characteristic that people often notice in Kayenta is that the homes seem to take on a quieter design approach on the outside. There is a purpose behind that method, obviously, so we asked Terry to share some of his thoughts on the approach used in the outside design.
Less is more. Really, we focused not on gingerbread, we focused not on plan-ons, and not on contrived architecture. We try to mask the buildings so they are really, really pleasant to look at as a whole, how they work with the site, how they work with the community. But the really beautiful part about the houses is the surprise that occurs when you walk inside. The inside space is so open, the views are so wonderful, the crosslight is so great, the ambiance is just there, and it is such a wonderful surprise to walk into these dens that have kind of been hewed into the natural environment.
Looking around Kayenta, it becomes apparent that there has been a very mindful approach in terms of what colors are used on the exterior of the home. So I asked Terry how this came to be.
The colors that we use are a little bit darker, so they reflect a little bit less light. That's the beginning of how to find the colors that work the best. But what we've done is we've created a palette of colors that is a pretty small spectrum of color and hue. And we've done this because over a period of years we found that these colors are the most innocuous. They tend to go away the best in all seasons, all times of the day. That gives us a continuity of color and texture across the entire community. It is a common denominator that everything can relate to. But it isn't static. It changes. It reflects the soils that the particular vegetation is growing in. It reflects the time of day. It reflects the sunlight. It reflects the time of year that the sun is actually shining on our mountain or on our landscape.
I wanted to show you the house under construction. You can see it in the framing stages with the plywood on. As we move on up, there's a house that's a little further along, and it's been foamed. And the foam acts as an insulator, and it also provides a little bit of a cushion so the stucco doesn't have the tendency to crack. And you notice how white that particular house is and how it
That's
sticks
temporary.
out.
That's not going to
So that house is
out,
not
yeah.
going to be white. It does stick out. I
Boy,
can
it
see the
does.
benefit of all the color and how you choose. How do you decide the color
Well,
palette, Matt?
this is a great example of why color is so important and choosing the color. And we go with earth tones, and we've developed a limited palette of browns, really. And we're introducing a few new colors in the new areas. But this house over here really shows us that how once the color is on the house, it blends beautifully with the natural surrounding.
It was the landscape that captured me. The landscape absolutely took my breath away. We came out here and we came here to this place. I loved the landscape, and then you meet the people, and I said, okay, I have come home.
Every morning we have our regulars, and then on Sunday we have usually between 30 and 50 people out here, and anyone who comes in, they'll introduce themselves, they'll tell them about the shop, all the different art galleries, about living in Kayenta.
Almost every day we look at each other and we say, wow, are we lucky to live here or not? I mean, it's just, we really are.
And we sing,
everyone that
"Oh,
lives
what
here.
a beautiful morning," every morning.
Yeah, we
go out
get
and
up
we sing together, look at the sun.
And I'm usually off key.
and then we're laughing at the same time because of his singing. So it's a good way to start the day. Song and laughter.
As we've just heard, the flat roof design concept in Kayenta is an evolution of its building style. Initially, roofs were pitched, but this gradually gave way to the flat roof design approach. The flat roof concept allows for more highly articulated floor plans and greater flexibility in design. It also allows for higher ceilings on the uphill side of a slope, thus creating the opportunity for higher windows that better capture the views to the north. The quieter approach used on the exterior design of homes in Kayenta is done in order to allow the homes to blend in more easily with their surroundings. Inside these homes, however, one finds a multitude of styles and approaches that fit the diversity of one's own personal taste. The open interior spaces, cross-light, and ambience found in Kayenta's homes are one of its prime attractions. Color hues used on the exterior of Kayenta homes are darker in order to reflect less light. The palette of colors used is a small spectrum of colors chosen to blend in with the landscape and soils, and to best reflect the light naturally and unobtrusively any time of day, any season. Coming up, we'll learn more about the placement of homes and building envelopes, and we'll also explore in some detail the design concepts of massing and silhouette.